Thanks, Paul. Hi, Robin.
Hi there.
Just maybe a word on Ronan Kelleher and his chances for this weekend. And does getting Gus McCarthy back kind of suggest that you do need extra cover in that position for this weekend?
Yeah, he's still being assessed, Ronan. So it's not ideal, but it'd be great to get Gus back with us. So yeah, got to cover all bases really.
Big game for him to come back in if he was to feature. What do you like about him as a hooker?
Great. I think he's had a great start to the season. He's taken his opportunity well. He's impressed when he's been given the opportunity. And on the back of two strong performances for the emerging Ireland team, it's been a great start to the season. And there's not much not to like about Gus. He's still developing. He's got a lot of growth left in him. So he'll be definitely one to watch.
And just on Jordan Lowry, what's the nature of his injury, with like not playing or not available as a precaution last week? What's his issue?
Good question. I think it was just a slight grab he had on his hamstring.
Okay, that's grand. Thank you. On Benetton, when you do the review, is it how big is the issue, the lull in the scoring for like over 50 minutes against a team you're kind of dominant, you're in control? Are you trying to get your team? How do you work up the team to be like the old All Blacks team that when they went 20-0 up, the most important thing was going 30-0 up and 40-0 up? Is that the biggest thing you take away of how to work on making sure you take all your chances and keep your foot on the throat when you have a team on the run?
Yeah, it was very, very interesting statistically when you look back at the game. We had one line out in the whole second half. They had 26 in total, we had 6. They were awarded 14 penalties. I think we were awarded 5. So from having that dominant start, for whatever reason, those stats, it's very hard then to maintain that pressure or the foot on the throat, given those stats for whatever reason. The one thing I will say from a set-piece point of view, I thought our line of defence was excellent. Line of attack was great. But from a scrummaging point of view, it was a great leveller to play on that field. They'd had a lot of rain during the week, and the minute you picked your foot up to try and push forward, you just weren't going anywhere. So we weren't able really to apply much pressure or to use the scrum as a weapon as opposed to a platform. So that was a bit frustrating, but you've got to give it to Benetton as well. They're not a bad team. It's a tough place to go, and we didn't we weren't able to maintain that scoring rate. But I think there'll be a lot of teams going there, and they'd be glad to get away with just scraping a win. I think so. To come away from there with maximum points, I think it was great.
Right. Just the last one for me, and maybe an overall look at the season. Leinster are always very proud of how many players they bring through and how many players they use over the course of the season. Do you think with what has gone on over the past 3 years that Leinster could adopt a more streamlined approach? Like, understand international commitments and various injuries and all that, but do you think there's room to tighten up squad selection so that, instead of playing 50 odd guys, you play 45 or 43 and have more intense game time in the bodies of players who are going to feature towards the knockout stages of rugby?
It's an interesting debate, one we have on a regular basis. From the ground up, that's what we strive to do here, and building a legacy, etc. So, and I think there's a bit of pressure on us to develop future international players. From my experience being here anyway, the quality coming through the academy system is second to none, which adds to the competitive nature of training. So I'm really in a very honoured, privileged position to be here, working with such talent. I don't know the answer to that question. I understand why it's being asked, but you need to keep these boys motivated. You can't play, more than your 15 or your match day 23. And in order to maintain the cohesion in that group, then you've got to try and, not everybody can have an opportunity. So it's tough. I don't know what the answer is because the number of internationals we have, they tend to leave us on block and then come back on block. So, yeah, I don't know the answer to that. So
I understand. It's more, I think, Toulouse, they're interested in how Toulouse get on, and Racing are interested in Racing, and all the English clubs are interested in how they get on. But maybe because of the IRFU system, there's more considerations than just Leinster. Okay, listen, thanks very much for your time, Robin.
Cheers, thank you.
Hi Robin, how's it going? Michael Bolton here.
Hi there.
Just on the game for the weekend, we've seen a few shocks URC already. We saw Zebre done to Munster when Munster lost in Italy, and a few other sort of shock results. Does that make all the more important getting the 5 results in Benetton? 5 points, sorry.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you look at the 3 games, we've been tested in different ways in all 3 matches. Obviously, we've had a lot to deal with the not having the number of internationals available from the start, and then reintegrating them. So that in itself, can be quite challenging. But we can take a lot of heart from the first 3 games. None of which have been easy. It's tough going to Edinburgh. The Dragons, they showed that they're improving, and on the weekend as well. There's quality players, and you never know. You can't base anything on pre-season until you start, playing the real games. And this will be another test for us on Saturday. Really, it's no disrespect to the first 3 games, first 3 opponents, but the nature of this one, it focuses the mind straight away. Sold 74,000 tickets already. The internationals, the ones that are fit, they're all fit for selection. So it's it's a big one on Saturday, and things kick off proper.
It's the sort of competition for places in a lot of positions, particularly back row. Look, Frawley was at the end of the weekend, Ross Byrne. Does the game like this really put pressure on players, or how do they react? Do you think what I'm trying to say is the performances of players, do you think they're really up it in the build up to playing Munster and Croke Park?
Yeah, I think I'm right in understanding your question, but the competition for places now is going to be at its highest, because the players who played in the pre-season games leading into the season, they've been given their opportunity. The internationals are now back, so we need to get them back up to speed, which they now are. So if you're not at your best now currently, your opportunity is going to be far and few between. So the nature of Munster and the threats that they pose, that focuses the mind. So hopefully you'd like to see all these players at their best on Saturday, knowing that they've got to make the most of their opportunity.
Just as from a coach's point of view, what do you make the rivalry between yourselves and Munster? Obviously Leinster have a very good record in the last few years. Munster got that semi-final win, URC 2023. We won 2 games last year. But what's the build-up like as a coach's point of view, and the game itself, like this rivalry?
Yeah, it's my experience, and most derbies really, the form book, that's out the window. It's all on the day, and you can turn your season round just by having a great win over your local sort of rivals. Like the nature of Croke Park, and we had Paul Rouse in with us today talking about the history, etc. And it's a great stage. And one of the messages that I took from listening to him speaking was, it's a great stage. Yes, it's got a good history, but don't get too tied up and bogged down in it. At the end of the day, you've got to go there, and you've got to play a game. So we can't get lost in all that. At the end of the day, it's going to be 15 against 15. You've got 15 proud Munster men in opposition, so we're going to have to be at our best. Like I said, the phone book's out the window. it's all about winning on the day. So you're not there to play pretty stuff. There's possibly a little bit more blood and thunder around the approach. And we know there's plenty of blood and thunder around about Munster. So, yeah, it's one that we look forward to. But we're going to have to be at our best, definitely.
Thanks very much. Best of the weekend.
Thank you.
Okay, is that everyone? Okay, thanks, folks.
Can I just stick in one last one? Just, Paul, you've played 3 games so far, 3 different starting out halves, Robin. I mean, can we, with the way Kieran went last week and his try, is he the man in pole position, and it's up to the others this week to show Leo that they can do a better job? How do you see that? I know it's not exactly your department, but if he started last week, is he favoured to start this week?
Yeah, that's the nature of, like we spoke about earlier, with regards to the competition for places. If you're given the shirt and you're given the opportunity, and you take your chance and you take your opportunity, and you don't give the coaches reason to not select you, I think that's the goal. And you put the ball in the other fella's court, and you say, right, you got to bring your A game to training day in, day out, good habits in every training session. And that's what we strive for. We want them to be to driving each other in order to be successful. And we haven't done that for 3 years, so it's about time we upped our game a little bit.
Appreciate your time. Thank you very much, Robin. Best of luck for the week.
Thank you.